In small towns, we know our neighbors, we share stories, and we lend a helping hand when needed. The glue that binds us together and fosters a sense of belonging and unity, transcending age, background, and status, is often a volunteer fire department. From Bucket Brigades to modern day, the Sister Bay Liberty Grove Fire Department. Born of the ashes of the catastrophic fire of 1912, the Sister Bay and Liberty Grove Fire Department has embodied the very essence of community since it was established in the 1930s and up through today, when even the state-of-the-art technology can't stop fire from wreaking havoc on property and leaving a community saddened with loss. The same year Sister Bay was incorporated, fire nearly destroyed the entire village, despite efforts of the community's energetic, albeit sole means of firefighting, the iconic Bucket Brigades that defined the early days of firefighting. Sister Bay began to rebuild immediately. The growth throughout Door County in the early 1900s coincided with increasing pressure from insurance companies to require fire protection services in communities where they underwrote policies. Throughout the 1930s, 40s, and into the 50s, a foundation was laid for Sister Bay and Liberty Grove Fire Department to make sure adequate protection was provided for a growing number of residents and visitors. Training was offered to volunteers, and costs were shared between the village of Sister Bay and the town of Liberty Grove. From those early days on, the department's evolution reflected the growth and changes seen throughout modern firefighting and fire departments across the country. The Sister Bay and Liberty Grove Fire Department remains 100% volunteer. Of the more than 1 million firefighters across the country, nearly 700,000 are volunteers. The speed local volunteer firefighters were alerted to emergencies improved greatly with the introduction of pagers in the 1980s. A far cry from the days when emergency calls went into Casperson's funeral home.
My job first thing was run over as fast as you can to the fire station, which is where the post office is now. And they had a buzzer to hit the fire alarm that went out, and they had a siren. We would just hit that and hold it for as long as we could for a minute or two, because that would, the word go out, everybody in town would listen for that siren if it went out, and they knew they had to come to the fire station, kind of like that.
That same decade, the department added fire protection to the state park system and routine fire inspections for businesses. The acquisition of new equipment and the department's expanding role throughout the last century were good reasons to celebrate throughout the community. But there were many tragic fires that brought the department's volunteers to the doorsteps of neighbors and friends in hours of unimaginable fear and great need. The growth and notable milestones of the Sister Bay and Liberty Grove Fire Department are a reminder that we are all part of a greater whole with a shared purpose. Sons and daughters come to their parents and say, look, I want to do what you're doing. I want to give back to the community.
The people that are doing this in rural areas are certainly not doing it for the glory. There's not much of that. They're doing it because they have a real care for their community and the people that live in it and the people that visit it.
Evidence that when we come together, we are capable of extraordinary feats.